Good morning, I'm Roisin and welcome to the vlog. Today we are going out on another trip around London. I am from London but I don't live there anymore, but I still like to go in every now and then, and today we are going and I'm going to take you on a bookish tour of Kew and Richmond, and I think we'll walk down to Twickenham as well along the river, so it should be a nice vlog. But first I've got to go get a haircut, so let's go. My haircut, as you can see, happens to be on a very windy day, so who knows how long it will stay looking like this. But now let's go to Kew.
This train is for Reading, calling at Clapham Junction.
I'm gonna go straight to Kew, but I realised that it would take me an hour to get here from where I was, and so it's now 1:45 and I haven't eaten since 6:30 this morning, so I need to go get some lunch. So I've come to Richmond first instead. Had lunch at Peggy Green on the Water, I think that's the name of it. It's just a like brunch cafe on a pontoon on the Thames, which is really nice. And then I'm now in Richmond. I said I think that I was going to go to Kew and then I was going to do a walk along the river to Twickenham, but with timings and everything, because I went to Richmond, so Richmond is kind of in the, it's like Kew's here, Richmond's here, Twickenham's over here, and so I'm in the middle. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to walk down to Ham House, because you might recognise it. It was used in a lot of like period dramas, so I'll show you that, and then I'll go back the other side of the river, walk back, and then go to Kew, because I have to be in St Paul's at 5:30 because I'm going to have a drink with one of my friends who works near there, so that's like 45 minutes from here. Also, something's up with my like 4G on my phone, and I have not that much phone battery, so I can't like look anything up, so I'm doing the best, but once we get to Kew it'll be fine. I'll get a map. So many people have walked past while I'm filming this, I'm so awkward, but here we are, Richmond. Started working again, and it's a 45-minute walk from here to Kew Gardens, and I only have 2 hours between now and when I need to leave St Paul's, so I think I'm not going to do Kew today because an hour and a bit is not long enough for Kew Gardens. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to walk back to Richmond. I'm going to explore the bookshops and maybe sit in a cafe for a bit and read my book. That will be nice, and I will definitely go to Kew again another time, but I do have some cafes and bookshops on my map that I use. I'll leave it in the description of my map of London, where I've like put pins into all the different like restaurants and cafes and stuff that I want to visit, so you can check that out in the description. But yeah, I'm gonna go find some bookshops, maybe buy a book. I just get paid today, so So as you can see, I am back home now. I had a really lovely day, although I think I walked about 30,000 steps, so I was fairly tired the next day. But as you saw, whilst I was book shopping in Richmond, I bought 5 books, which for me is a lot of books to buy in one time. So I think that I bought these 2 in the first shop and these 3 in the second. So I will talk you through them. So the ones that I chose in the first shop was Empire Land by Santam Sangira, and I picked this one because I saw Doz talking about it on her Instagram, which I'll leave linked in the description. She talked about it as a good book to read for the coronation, because it is about the effects of the British Empire, the hangover of the British Empire, and the way that it still affects us today. It is fundamental to understanding modern Britain, from the feeling we can go it alone when it comes to everything from Brexit to global pandemics, to our distrust of cleverness and our particular brand of racism. And it also talks about the way that we don't really learn about it in school. So yeah, very interested in reading about that. The Empire and the after effects of Empire are probably my my personal interest in British history specifically is in relation to this, so looking forward to seeing how it is done. And I mean, Simon Scammer has said it is a terrific and very important book. And then the other non-fiction that I bought was The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion, and I bought that in the same shop. I suppose I had a non-fiction moment. This is a memoir, and I've talked before on this channel about how I have like a bit of a hit and miss relationship with memoirs. Most of them I think are just okay, and I'm not really that interested, but some of them have really stood out for me. And Joan Didion is a writer that I want to find out if she is one of those writers that I love, because so many people talk about her and she has such an impressive back catalogue. This is about the year when her daughter became very, very sick and was in intensive care in hospital, and her partner, her husband, died of a heart attack in the same year. And so it is about her dealing with grief and her response to that situation. And I think it's a very personal, small book, and the quote on the back is from Zadie Smith, who is a writer that I really love. I have a whole video reviewing her book on beauty, which I will leave in the cards above. So yeah, those are the 2 that I bought in the first bookshop, which was called Books on the Rise, because it was on a road called The Rise. So yeah, that was those 2. And then the second bookshop I went to was The Open Book, and I bought 3 books there, and I gave myself the challenge to only buy books that I had already had on my TBR that were pink, because it was just a way to kind of stop myself from buying too many books. So I gave myself a parameter within which I had to stay, and also because I have a tendency to, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I find it really hard to buy something until I have seen every single option, and so shopping with me can be really annoying because I need to have seen everything that's on offer. Like even when we're just driving somewhere and we stop at a service station, my boyfriend gets really annoyed because I have to check like every single sandwich, every single shop, every single option for lunch before I can pick my lunch, because what if I pick and then I see something better after I've picked? I can't do it. I have to know that I've picked the one that is most right for me in that moment. I'm a nightmare. But the 3 books that I bought Leave the World Behind by Ruman Alam. Summerween is coming up in July, so I may take part in that, because I've been thinking recently how much I love sort of creepy, haunted, strange books in the summer, particularly if it's too hot. There's something about the creepiness and the feeling uncomfortable that I think just really goes together. I prefer creepy books at that time of year than in autumn, when I want like a big chunky book to sink into, or non-fiction. The creepy stuff, I think, for me works better in the summer, so maybe I will read this then. I know this is a book that is quite divisive, and I think it's because people have gone into it expecting like proper horror, and it's actually just a bit more unsettling and strange, and it's about a couple who are staying in a holiday home when some people turn up saying that they are the owners of the holiday home, and there has been a power cut across the whole city of New York and the whole state, I guess, and they have come, and it's about like racism and isolation and class, so it's an interesting look at that with a kind of unsettling, strange perspective, as far as I'm aware. Then we have Anne Tyler, Vinegar Girl, and this is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew. It's in the Hogarth Shakespeare series. So the one that I have and haven't read yet, but the other one that I have in this series is Hagseed by Margaret Atwood, which is a retelling of The Tempest. But this one, as I said, is The Taming of the Shrew, which is a play that I have never read, but I know the story because of 10 Things I Hate About You. So it will be so we'll see how well I actually know the story. But this is about a woman who is running a house and home for her scientist father and her infuriating younger sister. And her father has an assistant who's working with him who is going to be kicked out of the country because his visa is up. And so they cook up this idea that he should marry Kate because then he can stay in the country. But obviously that's how The Taming of the Shrew works as well. We're trying to marry this woman who really doesn't want to and doesn't... Also, why wouldn't you just tell her that that was what you were going for? Anyway, so we'll see how fun that is. It sounds like hijinks could definitely ensue. I've never read any Anne Taylor either, so I know she's another one that a lot of people enjoy. Someone I have read a lot of is Hilary Mantel. I'm going to try and read all of her back catalogue, I have decided. So far I have read 5 books that she has written. Cromwell Trilogy, Place of Greater Safety, and The Giant O'Brien. And this one is the first one that will not be historical fiction if I read it next. It's not historical fiction, it is set at the time it was written, although I don't know when that was. First published in 2005. So it is about a medium who works in commuter towns outside of London with her flint-hearted sidekick, passing on messages from the dead. But behind her smiling persona is a desperate woman. The next life holds terrors that she must conceal from her clients, and her own waking hours are plagued by the spirits of men from her past. Which, this is shortlisted for the Women's Prize, and I am intrigued to read it, in part because I think that Hilary Mantel, all of her books are kind of ghost stories in a way. There's always a communion with the past, but it will be interesting to read one that is directly like that. So there you have it, my book haul, my day out in Richmond. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If there is anywhere in London you would like to see explored, like maybe you're planning a trip and you want to see a certain area, see whether you want to check it out, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to do that for you. I'm definitely planning to take some more trips into London later in the year. Into town. So let me know what you thought, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you for watching. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and to subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos twice a week, so I'll see you again. Bye bye.